Executive consultants, you're welcome. In our previous lecture, we looked at how we can play around with inventory info, and we saw how to create the stock groups and then to create the stock items. We left when we had put in some items under the different groups, and now we want to see how do we purchase such. Executive consultants, welcome. So I will open my software and then I will see, we are done with the master's basics. And at least by now you should be knowing how to find your way to play with accounts info and inventory info. Now today we want to look at the transactions and we are going to play both of them, the accounting voucher and the inventory vouchers. We left at when we wanted to make some purchases, but we know for you to make a purchase, you need to make an order. So we are going to go and make an order, then later on purchase, and then we'll later on see how much we've purchased. So we are going to press inventory vouchers and we will have to come here and then make a purchase order. So when the purchase order comes on, it's you now to fill it up with what you want to fill it up with. So the parties account, if we had a bank account, we would have it. If we had creditors or suppliers that would supply us on credit, then we would have them here. But let us assume that the business is simply starting and we are not going to use the payables. We are simply going to use cash. So once we press cash, then they are going to ask us for the supplier and then address and then the order details. So we'll say the supplier is going to, we are going to sort out him with cash, and then his address is Chikubo. And then our order details, our mode of payment is cash again, and the terms of delivery at the shop, and then purchase the dispatch through, then they will dispatch through their truck driver, and then the destination is shop. So once that is done, they'll ask us for the order number. Then since we are ordering new, we'll simply have our order number at 0001. And once that is done, we'll have to select the ledger account we are using, and we are going to use purchases. So once we select purchases, then they ask us for the number of items that we want to purchase. So we'll select from our list of items. If you can see clearly, we had Coca-Cola, Renzori, Pot Water, and all that. So let's say want to purchase Highland. So due date will be, and then the quantity, because a box has about 300, it has about 24, so we'll say 24 bottles times 24 bottles times 10 boxes, that would be 240 bottles, and then the rate will be perhaps at 900, and then that means we're supposed to pay that amount. And once we are done with that, we simply come back, and then another item that we want to purchase would be gin. And then we'd still say gin want to purchase quantity worthy, let's say 20 bottles. Then the rate would be perhaps 25,000. And then we'll be done with that. Then the other item that we want to buy now will be, let's see the items we have. I want to buy, let's say Renzori. So the date is simply asking you when do you want it to come to the shop, and then for us we want to receive it today because we are making a purchase order today, and then we want it to get on board today. So that's why you're not seeing me changing the date. And then the quantity will say, because the bottle has 24, so also want to say maybe let's have 300, and then the rate will be also let's say 950. We are assuming that we are buying the 500 mils, and then once that is done, we'll have our purchase order in place. And once our purchase order is in place, then we'll come and then simply Control A, and it will be done. So we've placed in our purchase order. Now we want to go to accounting vouchers to see how we go about with the accounting. So we'll come to purchases. Now, I must tell you that when you come to purchases, you're seeing that we have name of item here. But when I come here and I press item invoice, then you're seeing that it is changing from name of item to particulars, meaning when you continue with this, you're going to select ledgers. So for you to select the items that you've put in your stock, then you simply come back and then you select that. So we'll say our reference is 1, 2, 3, 4, and our ledger that we are going to use, because Tally knows the specific ledgers that you're supposed to use. And if we had a bank account or if we had a creditor, then we'd probably have them here. But because we are new in the business, we are going to continue with cash, and we will select, if we want to keep these receipts, we'll say not applicable. And then we want to know the number, or we want to know the list, the number of our list order. So here comes, if we had other lists of orders perhaps, but now we want to say, let's get the details for this order, and then we'll simply come and then we put the TIN number for this gentleman who's going to sell us. And once that is done, we select purchases, and here we are. You can see that we have our purchase order that we made in the purchase order inventory vouchers here with us. So you simply can either decide to change, but I would advise you not to do so. So we press Ctrl A, then you go to another item, and then so you would still press Ctrl A so that you go to another item, and we are back. So we've seen we gave a TIN number for tax purposes, but now we want to see how much VAT are we going to pay as well, because we want to see how much money we are going to pay. So we need to make a ledger for VAT. So we will come and press Alt C, and then we'll say purchase VAT. And then we will come, oh, a moment. We need to come and then make the VAT purchase, the VAT purchase ledger, and then it is going to be under duties. Remember, now we are using some of the predetermined ledgers. So is it going to affect the items? No. No. And then the percentage for it, we are going to say, because we're in Uganda, it is still 18 standard. And then we are going to say it's going to be on the total sales. Okay, I know someone's probably saying total sales rate, it's VAT purchase. It is okay, it will still do the same thing. So it simply come and then say, okay. So you can see that when you select that and then you say VAT purchase, you're going to see that the 18% of our 1,001,000 is 180,180, 100. So you can see that we have finally been able to finalize with our purchase, and then we simply press Ctrl A. And once we're done with that, then that means we've purchased. So let us check and see if these items are really there. Let us first of all check in our reports. We are going to check in our balance sheet, and you can see that we have our current assets here, and then it is closing stock. Then we have the soft drinks and the whiskey, and then where we used cash at hand, we can see that we have them here. We have the purchases that we made of 1 million, and then we also have the VAT that we paid. And when we come to the profit and loss account, you can still see that we have our purchase accounts here. We simply click on it, and then we get to see that we used cash, and then our purchases are here that we bought. So you can see them. So after doing that, that means you've made a purchase, and that would be waiting for you to either sell out or to keep in business. But because we are in the business operations, you can't keep stock in business, you have to sell it out. So today we are going to stop there because we've seen how to purchase. And now in the next lecture, we'll see how do we sell these items that we've purchased. Executive consultants, good evening.